Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name's Adam Hamid Isman and I'd like to welcome you to the English news program on Somaliland National Television. Here to bring you the latest news. Let's start with the stories making the headlines. Somaliland Cabinet held meeting chaired by the President of Somaliland. Minister of Information holds press conference to discuss issues such as civil registration campaign and interventions by the Somalia government. Somaliland parliamentarians hold press conference to discuss interventions by Somalia government. The Somaliland Cabinet held a meeting in the capital of Somaliland, Hargeisa, at the Presidential Palace. The meeting itself was chaired by the President of Somaliland and discussed the 2015 budget. The Somaliland Cabinet held this meeting at the Presidential Palace in the capital of Somaliland. The meeting was chaired by the President of Somaliland, Ahmed Mohamed Mahamoud, and saw a presentation from the Ministry of Finance for the 2015 budget. The Council of Ministers voted to pass the 2015 budget, which is a $28 million increase on last year's budget. This year's budget for Somaliland ministries has been stated to be 180 million in comparison to last year's budget, which was 152 million. The presentation also displayed that when the ministries and independent agencies of the Somaliland government are combined, the total budget will become 251 million. This budget will initiate as of January 2015. And in an interview with the presidential spokesman, Ahmed Selaban Duhul, he stated that the Somaliland government's main focus for 2015 will be the civil registration in preparation for the upcoming elections. Ahmed Selaban Duhul also discussed opposition party concerns and their attempts to undermine this process, stating that this is against national interests. Ahmed Selaban Duhul also asked the Somaliland public to consider the last time that they heard progressive proposals for national development from opposition parties when considering their vote. The Minister of Information, Culture and National Guidance, Abdullahi Mohamed Dahir Akuse, held a press conference at his office at the Ministry of Information in the capital of Somaliland to discuss various issues, in particular the upcoming civil registration campaign, following interventions from the Somalia government.
The press conference held by the Minister of Information, Culture and National Guidance, Mr. Abdullahi Mohamed Dahir Akuse, was accompanied by the Vice Minister of Information, Culture and National Guidance, Mr. Abdul Wahid Abdul Qadir, the Vice Minister of Commerce and Investment, Mr. Bashir Abdi Harir, and the Director General of the Ministry of Information, Culture and National Guidance, Muhammad Ilmi Adam Ilqase. The press conference held by the Minister of Information, Culture and National Guidance of Somaliland discussed several approaches, including security measurements and some statements announced by Somali government that's to claim Somaliland is not entitled to create a system of registration and identity for citizens. The minister also included his speech other issues regarding opposition parties. The minister is speaking about some statements said by the government of Somalia, which they aim to weaken the existence of Somaliland, stated that Somaliland is an independent country that resolved to reconstitute itself as an independent state. Since it has established and sustained peace and stability. The minister said that on the presence of all these facts on the ground, Somalia is not entitled to interfere about Somaliland's progress to set in place the system of registration and identity for its citizens. Somaliland therefore stands in stark contrast to South Central Somalia, which remains a failed state without an effective government, plagued by a series of disastrous humanitarian crises. Due to all these facts, Somalia has nothing to do with the government of Somaliland and its people, as Somaliland is an independent country similar to any other country. The minister is speaking relevant to this point, said that Somalilanders are united in the desire to live in an independent state and are strongly opposed to anyone against their independence. The minister, continuing his speech, said that the only thing that we are commonly sharing with the neighboring country Somalia is the regional relations. The minister, on the other hand, called for Somaliland citizens to take part in the country's system of registration, pointing out the relevance and the significance of the citizens' registration system, which he said that it's taking part of the country's way forward. The minister also discussed about the opposition party, Wadani, to halt anything that's against the Somaliland national integrity and security, instead to contribute towards the national progress.
Somaliland parliamentarians hold press conference to discuss interventions by Somalia government. Somaliland parliamentarians held a press conference in the capital of Somaliland, Hargeisa, to discuss recent interventions by the Somalia government regarding Somaliland's international oil deals. Parliamentarian Saeed Mohammed Sirad and Parliamentarian Abdiqadir Indendo held this press conference to discuss these interventions, especially as parliamentarians hailing from the eastern regions of Somaliland. Parliamentarians stated that Somaliland is an independent country and can enter into deals as they wish, and for the Somalia government to avoid future interventions in Somaliland affairs. This follows statements released by the Minister of Energy and Minerals, Hussein Abdi Duala, to discuss the oil companies which are currently exploring for oil reserves in Somaliland territory. There has been much publicity regarding the eastern regions of Somaliland, and the parliamentarians were there to confirm Somaliland's national integrity. The parliamentarians also stated that there were talks held by a third party between Somaliland and Somalia to discuss future relations, and that this should be the way forward. That's all the news we have for you today. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.